Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. Today we are going to talk about school lunches. You are going to pretend to be a food service evaluator to decide whether 4 sample lunches meet the standards set by the federal government. Let's see what the USDA regulations are. Let's take a look at what the USDA requires for each of the food groups from my plate. What does the USDA require for lunches for fruits and vegetables? 1 fruit and 1 vegetable, or 2 fruits, or 2 vegetables. Here are some examples of fruits and vegetables. We have apple, orange, corn, broccoli, grapes, and blueberries. Next, let's see why we need fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables provide vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Make sure to eat a variety of colors when you eat your fruits and vegetables. Think of the rainbow. Make sure you eat every color of the rainbow for your fruits and vegetables. The same color of fruits and vegetables usually have the same vitamins and minerals. If you eat a variety, like the rainbow, of all the colors, you will get all the vitamins and minerals that fruit and vegetables offer. Here's a close-up look of a rainbow assortment of fruits and vegetables. Grains are next. Each school lunch is required to have a grain. Grains provide carbohydrates for energy. Here are a reminder of some grains. So we have bread, pasta, rice, and a hamburger bun. Protein requirements. Each school lunch is required to have a protein, which provides iron for energy and protein for growth. A protein for school lunch can be any of these: meat, poultry, fish, dried beans, peas, eggs, and nuts. Cheese or yogurt can be substituted for meat, since dairy foods are also a good source of protein. Here's a reminder of what some proteins look like. So we have peanut butter, hamburger patty, salmon, and black beans. Dairy requirements include low-fat or fat-free milk. Milk provides calcium for strong bones and protein for growth. Here's an up-close look at that milk. Now that you're an expert on what school lunches require, let's take a look at lunch number 1 to see if it meets all of the requirements. Just in case you need it, the requirements are written in the blue box. Here's lunch number 1. Hamburger on a bun with lettuce and tomato, fruit salad, and whole milk. I'll give you a little time to think about it. Go through the requirements and see if the lunch has everything that it requires. Now remember, a school lunch must have 2 fruits or 2 vegetables, or 1 fruit and 1 vegetable. It needs a grain and also a protein. Proteins can include meat, poultry, fish, dried beans, peas, eggs, or nuts. Cheese or yogurt can also be substituted for meat since they are a good source of protein. Milk needs to be low-fat or fat-free. I'll stop talking so that you can take a look at what lunch number 1 has and see if it meets the requirements. Let's go through the lunch. Does it meet the requirements for fruits and vegetables? Yes, it has lettuce, tomato, and fruit salad, so it has plenty of fruits and vegetables. What about grains? If you got the hamburger bun, you were correct. Does it meet the requirements for protein? The hamburger would meet that requirement. Does it meet the requirements for dairy? No. Did you catch it? It has milk, but it's not low-fat or fat-free. They offered whole milk. So this lunch is going to be a fail. That was a tricky one. Let's see how you do on lunch number 2. Will lunch number 2 be a pass or fail? Let's see what this lunch has. Vegetable soup, egg salad sandwich, apple, and fat-free milk. I'll give you a little time to look it over. Does it meet the requirements for fruits and vegetables? Between the vegetable soup and the apple, it does. What about a grain? Yes, the bread for the egg salad sandwich would be the grain. Protein? The eggs in the egg salad sandwich would be the protein. Is fat-free milk, does that meet the requirement? Yes, so this meal is a pass. It meets all the requirements. Hopefully you got that one correct. Let's go on to the next one. Take a look at this meal. Cheese pizza with sausage, onions, mushrooms, and pineapple chunks. Low-fat milk. Take a look. I'll give you some time. What do you think? Does it meet the requirements? Does this meal fit the requirements for fruits and vegetables? Yes, it has onions, mushrooms, and pineapple. What about a grain? The pizza crust. Does it have a protein? The sausage. Does the milk work? Yes, low fat. So this meal is also a pass. Let's go through our last one, number 4. So we have orange slices, a waffle, bacon, and fat-free milk. Again, I'll give you some time to look it over. Does it meet the requirements for fruits and vegetables? It has fruit, orange slices, but that's it. So it doesn't meet the requirement. This lunch is a fail. Let's go through the rest of the lunch to see if everything else meets the requirements. Does it have a grain? Yes, the waffle. How about a protein? The bacon. Fat-free milk is required, so it meets that requirement. Besides the fruit and vegetable requirement, this meal meets all the other requirements. But since it doesn't have the fruit and vegetable requirement, we're going to have this one as a fail. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun being a food service evaluator. Next time you look at your school's menu, make sure it meets all the requirements. Have a great day. Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. I'd like to do an activity with you today that will get you up and get you moving. It's called Veggies and Verbs. The first thing I would like you to think about is a vegetable. It can be your favorite one. It can be one you don't even like. You're not going to have to eat it. Just need a name of a vegetable. So I'll give you a second to think about it. I have my vegetable in mind. Hopefully you do too. Now let's think about a verb. Do you remember what a verb is? A verb is an action word. So we're going to be thinking about things that move or have action to them. So what I would like you to do is think about that vegetable that you came up with and think about the first letter. So what letter does that vegetable start with? Now I would like you to think of a verb that starts with that same letter. Think about it for a minute. I'll give you my example. So my vegetable was a carrot. And my action word is climb. So carrot and climb. What I would like to do next is to come up with some vegetables and then also verbs that start with the same letter and act them out. So we're going to get up and we're going to get moving. If you can think of some vegetables and then also some verbs that start with the same letter, go ahead and write them down because you can definitely add those on at the end after I've shown you what I've come up with. So again, we're going to get up and we're going to get moving. So I would like you to please stand up, find a space that you have a little bit of room so that we can move. So I'll be right back and we'll start in our movement with our veggies and verbs. Did you find a space with a little bit of room? I sure hope so. Also, did you come up with some veggies and verbs? Again, you can always add those on at the end of my video. Let's go ahead and get started with mine. So remember, my first vegetable was carrot, and that starts with the letter C, and my action or my verb was climb. So let's go ahead and climb. So one arm, one leg at a time, and we're climbing like we're climbing up a ladder. I'm going to do this for about 10 to 15 seconds. If you would like to go longer, you can always pause the video and go longer than what I am. Are you a little curious to what my next vegetable is? The next vegetable that I came up with was tomato. And then I was thinking about a verb or an action word that started with the letter T, and I came up with twirl. So I'm going to turn around in a circle. I get dizzy easy, so I'm going to switch my direction back. And then I'm going to do that one more time. My next vegetable is broccoli. And for broccoli, I came up with balance. So I'm going to take one foot off the ground. I'm going to bring my arms out to the side and see if I can keep my balance. How are you doing? I bet you're doing great. Let's go ahead and take those arms down and that leg down and try it on the other side. Is it easier on this side? Maybe the same? Again, those arms go down, leg comes in, and let me tell you about my next vegetable. That's going to be mushrooms. And with mushrooms, I came up with march. So I'm going to march in place. Again, you can go faster than me if you would like to. Now I'd like to let you know my last vegetable. And that vegetable is lettuce, which starts with the letter L. And the action word that I came up with was lean. So I'm going to lean over to the one side. And then go ahead and lean onto the other side. And then right back up to the middle. Again, if you came up with more veggies and verbs, feel free to do them now. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a fun time with veggies and verbs, and I hope to see you soon. Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. I have a book that I would like to read with you, and the title of our book is called Gregory the Terrible Eater, and it's written by Mitchell Sharma and illustrated by Jose Arugo and Ariane Dewey. Let's see what happens to Gregory. Once there was a goat named Gregory. Gregory liked to jump from rock to rock, kick his legs into the air, and butt his head against walls. "I'm an average goat," said Gregory. But Gregory was not an average goat. Gregory was a terrible eater. Every time he sat down to eat with his mother and father, he knew he was in for trouble. "Would you like a tin can, Gregory?" asked Mother Goat. "No thanks," said Gregory. "How about a nice box, a piece of rug, and a bottle cap?" asked Father Goat. "Bah," said Gregory unhappily. "Well, I think this is a meal fit for a goat," said Mother Goat as she chewed on an old shoe. "It certainly is," said Father Goat as he ate a shirt, buttons and all. "I don't know why you're such a fussy eater, Gregory." "I'm not fussy," said Gregory. "I just want fruits, vegetable, eggs, fish, bread, and butter. Good stuff like that." Mother Goat stopped eating the shoe. "Now what kind of food is that, Gregory?" she said. "It's what I like," said Gregory. "It's revolting," said Father Goat. He wiped his mouth with his napkin. After Gregory was excused from the table, Father Goat said, "Gregory is such a terrible eater. I wonder what's wrong with him," said Mother Goat. Mother and Father Goat ate their evening newspaper in silence. The next morning, Mother and Father Goat were enjoying a pair of pants and a coat for breakfast. Gregory came to the table. "Good morning, Gregory," said Father and Mother Goat. "Good morning," said Gregory. "May I have some orange juice, cereal, and bananas for breakfast, please?" "Oh no," Mother Goat said. "Do have some of this nice coat." "Take a bite out of these pants," said Father Goat. "Ah," said Gregory, and he left the table. Father Goat threw down his napkin. "That does it," he said. "Gregory just isn't eating right. We must take him to the doctor." Father and Mother Goat took Gregory to the doctor. Dr. Ram was munching on a few pieces of cardboard. "What seems to be the trouble?" he asked. "Gregory is a terrible eater," said Mother Goat. "We've offered him the best: shoes, boxes, magazines, tin cans, coats, pants. But all he wants are fruits, vegetables, eggs, fish, orange juice, and other horrible things." "What do you have to say about all of this, Gregory?" asked Dr. Ram. "I want what I like," said Gregory. "Makes sense," said Dr. Ram. He turned to Mother and Father Goat. "I've treated picky eaters before," he said. "They have to develop a taste for good food slowly. Try giving Gregory one new food each day until he eats everything." That night for dinner, Mother Goat gave Gregory spaghetti and a shoelace in tomato sauce. "Not too bad," said Gregory. The next day, she gave him string beans and a rubber heel cut into small pieces. "The meal was good and rubbery," said Gregory. The day after that, Mother Goat said, "We have your favorite today, vegetable soup. But there is one condition. You also have to eat the can." "Okay," said Gregory. "What's for dessert?" "Ice cream," said Father Goat. "But you have to eat the box too." "Yummy," said Gregory. "I'm proud of you," said Father Goat. "You're beginning to eat like a goat." "I am learning to like everything," said Gregory. One evening, Father Goat asked, "Has anyone seen my striped necktie?" "Not since breakfast," said Mother Goat. "Come to think of it, I haven't seen my sewing basket today. I left it in the living room after supper last night." Father Goat turned to Gregory. "Gregory, have you been eating between meals?" "Yes," said Gregory. "I can't help it. Now I like everything." "Well," said Mother Goat, "it is all right to eat like a goat, but you shouldn't eat like a pig." "Oh," said Gregory. After Gregory went to bed, Mother Goat said, "I'm afraid Gregory will eat my clothes hamper." "Yes, and then my toolkit will be next," said Father Goat. "He's eating too much. We'll have to do something about it." The next evening, just before supper, Mother and Father Goat went to the town dump. They brought home 8 flat tires, a 3-foot piece of barber pole, a broken violin, and half a car. They piled everything in front of Gregory's sandbox. When Gregory came home for supper, he said, "What's all that stuff in the yard?" "Your supper," said Father Goat. "It all looks good," said Gregory. Gregory ate the tires and the violin. Then he slowly ate the barber pole. But when he started in on the car, he said, "I've got a stomach ache. I have to lie down." Gregory went to his room. "I think Gregory ate too much junk," said Father Goat. "Let's hope so," said Mother Goat. All night, Gregory tossed and twisted and moaned and groaned. The next morning, he went down for breakfast. "What would you like for breakfast today, Gregory?" asked Father Goat. "Scrambled eggs and 2 pieces of wax paper and a glass of orange juice," said Gregory. "That sounds just about right," said Mother Goat. And it was. And that is the end of our book, Gregory the Terrible Eater. Thanks for joining me. Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. Thanks for joining me today while I make rainbow coleslaw. Let's go over the ingredients we need. So right here I have a red cabbage. To me it looks a little bit more purple. On the inside it looks a little more red, but to me it's kind of like grapes, where they said they're red grapes, but to me they always look a little more purple. We also have a green cabbage. We'll be using a red bell pepper, onion, carrots, and then we also have cheese in our recipe. We have a red vinegar, and then also mayonnaise. So let me get together my bowl and everything else that I need, and let's get started on our rainbow coleslaw. This is what the inside of the red cabbage looks like. It has been cut in half. After I've cut it in half, I would take it and cut it into sections and chop it up from there. And this is what one section of the green cabbage looks like. So I have it sliced one way, and then I would take my knife and slice it the other way. So I get nice small pieces. And then what I would do is I would take my knife and kind of just chop through it so they get nice and small. We need 2 cups of the red cabbage and then also 2 cups of the green. This is what the onion looks like as I'm cutting it. We need a 1/2 cup of our onion for our recipe. Have you seen what a bell pepper looks like on the inside? This is what it looks like before I cut it up and chop it for 1/2 cup. Here is the dressing for our rainbow coleslaw. I've added a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise and then also a tablespoon of the red vinegar. And I'm just going to mix that together. It'll get a little bit more mixed up when we add it to the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to set this bowl aside, and I'm going to show you all of the ingredients that we have added. So we have our cabbages, our red bell pepper, carrots, and then we also have our onion in here. So I'm going to mix this up. You can see all those bright, beautiful colors of our rainbow coleslaw. You can see kind of how it got its name, can't you? So we're mixing that up, and then we're just going to add our dressing to the top of this. So we're going to take that dressing, add it in, and then we're going to mix this together. So just mixing that dressing in with all of the ingredients. Do you remember that there was cheese in this recipe? So once I get it stirred up well here, we're going to add a little cheese onto the top. So we need a 1/2 cup of cheese. So we'll add that in, and then we'll also mix that in to our recipe. I hope you get the chance to make the rainbow coleslaw. I have tried it before and it is delicious. And again, all those bright, beautiful colors, like eating the rainbow of our fruits and vegetables like we should be. Again, this is rainbow coleslaw, and I hope you get a chance to make it. Thanks for joining me today. You can find this Michigan Harvest of the Month recipe at mihotm.recipes and then search rainbow coleslaw.